Morning guys, Game Jam starts now. Right guys, I know you're all here for one thing and one thing only, and that is the theme, which I'm going to reveal right now. The theme for this September 2017's Game Jam is The Last Night. For those out there who have not heard of The Last Night, it is basically a modern take on the 8-bit genre. Remember back in the good old days how everything used to be very pixelated? Yeah, well now they've taken that and actually made it so modern, it looks so cool. There should be some snippets coming on screen right now whilst I explain a little bit about the game. So the game has not yet got gameplay that is available to the public to see. The trailers do only show the look of the game. And quite frankly, I thought this would fit extremely well because it has both 2D, 3D, it has post-processing in there. I know it has an amazing story lined up. Gameplay is a little bit iffy because we do not know the actual gameplay from the trailers, so because of this, you guys have free to interpret all of that type of stuff. And remember when I say that you're trying to recreate this sort of world that they've made, I don't mean recreate it. I mean come up with your own interpretation, your own setting, your own theme almost. But it must follow the style of a very modern 8-bit game. The reason I picked the genre is because there are so many different components within a game like this, and I thought that it would be perfect for everyone. Hopefully this inspires a few teams to build up and stuff like that, and now we're going to go over a few rules that you guys need to know and how you should do things in certain ways and all this stuff. I've actually updated a few rules. Number one, absolutely no assets from any store or any external third-party sort of sites or places. Everything must be made by the team itself, and you know, we don't want people going around purchasing everything because then it gives a bit of an unfair advantage to those with money, which is kind of, yeah, it's not fair. However, in saying this, Unity standard assets may be used, and of course everything that comes in box for Unreal may be used, and any other engine out there. I would recommend using one of those two because remember, if you take a look at the game, it's 3D, 2D. I know these engines definitely work with both. You may use fonts, however, under an OFL license. I've talked about this before, but the OFL license is the open font license, and you can tell this by when downloading the font. It will often come with a README file or a license file that will have all that information in there for you. Make sure that it is under an open font license. We don't want any copyright claims. This time there is absolutely no size limit for your team, so you can have a team up to 20 or 50 or even 50,000 if you really choose. I wanted to do this to encourage people to actually join teams with each other, join forces, and unlike last time, have less games that are better quality. As per usual, the game must be made in the time constraints, which is 4 days from the release of this video. You can also check the timer on itch.io if you want to see it live, and remember you need to submit it quite early on. Last time we had a few late submissions, and of course some didn't even come through at all and people just gave up on it, so it's a little bit, you know, sad when that happens. I mean, it is 3 days of your guys' lives or 4 days of you guys' lives. Games must be playable on a Windows 10 operating system. Now I can't stress this enough, we had Mac games last time, or Mac OS or whatever you like to call it, which I could not run obviously, and I think somebody also sent me an APK. So we had an Android game and of course a Macintosh game. It's fine to use those platforms, but for this competition we're just going to say that you must make at least one download, a Windows 10 download. Games must only be playable by a mouse and keyboard or a gamepad, because those are the only two that I can use. And if I can't use any of those two, like last time we had virtual reality stuff, and yeah, that's great and all, and it's sort of unique I guess, but I couldn't actually play it, so we couldn't do much with that. It's a little sad that we didn't get to play everyone's, and it was a bit wishy-washy, but now I'm making it very certain so people know and understand the rules of this game jam. Next up, always compress your files. You can either submit as a .rar or .zip file only. Those are basically the rules. If you have any questions or any other rules that you want a bit more clarification on, then there is a Game Jam chat within itch.io. Ask me at any time of the Game Jam and I will reply to you definitely. And if I don't reply through mistake or negligence, then just PM me or DM me. Up to you guys. Moving on to judging. Judging is quite important. There is a public vote for this game jam, which means that the public are able to vote on your stuff. That means you guys need to go out there and publicly you know, market your game almost. You want more people to come in so it gives you a very accurate overall score. We want to know where your game actually stands, and so the more people you guys get, the more votes you'll obviously get, and stuff like that. The first is, how well did you interpret the look of The Last Night, which is incredibly cool. Basically, did you guys get a similar feeling towards it? Did you guys get a similar sort of aesthetic towards it? Next up, we have creativity towards soundtrack use. Now, this is very important. I have given 3 tracks that are in a music pack. You guys can go and pick the song that you guys want to use. You have to use at least one of the full songs, or you can remix or remake any one of those songs, and you can even use all of them. You can mix them up, mash them together, remix them, remake them, and then you can submit them within your game. And the soundtrack creativity is actually judging how well you have used it within the game. So for those musicians and audio engineers, you guys still have a very important job to actually try and find a way to put that song within the game. And you guys can also remake it, as I said, and remix it, remaster it. I mean, the songs I made are very basic. You must keep the theme as The Last Night, and you must use one of the 3 songs that follow those 3 genres: ethereal, fantasy, and of course jazz. I believe that The Last Night is actually a story-driven game. So the idea behind it is that you guys need to come up with your own stories for your own little games and make them sort of tellable, and creativity towards storytelling is what we're looking for here. How engaging was your game? Did you kind of feel for any characters? Did you kind of take a deep think about something afterwards? All that type of stuff is really cool. Next up is something that we didn't have in the last Game Jam, but this Game Jam I'm definitely putting it in because I think it is a big part of game development that people often overlook, and that is refinement and optimization. What I mean by this is, how well does it actually run on PC or Windows 10 or whatever? How well does it run on people's computers? When I say refinement, I mean polish. Like, how polished is the game? Is it made to a sort of very easy playable point? Can I go in there, play it, give it to someone else and they know how to play it? You know, is there tutorials involved? Is there a creative way of you letting players know how to actually play your game? Finally, we have gameplay creativity. Since The Last Night has not actually been released yet, we do not know anything about the gameplay, so it's completely up to you on how you guys like to do it. Remember that the theme does not have to be the same as The Last Night. It doesn't have to be a city. It could be a forest. It could be a western town. It could be anything that you can possibly think of. It could be a sci-fi world, for God's sakes. The idea is to make something that looks really good, but also follows a very simplistic 8-bit tone, but also has one of these 3 music genres as their kind of theme, their overall theme. Where do you think that would fit in a universe? To download the music packs, go to the link in the description below. Go head on over to Discord. The Game Jam tab or channel, text channel, is where everything's going to be happening. Everyone's going to be releasing updates on their own Game Jam projects and stuff like that. And of course, if you need help and stuff, don't forget you can DM me, you can private message me, you can tag me or poke me on the Discord channel. That's it from me. You guys have a lovely 4 days. I will see you on Monday again, where we get sort of back into regular scheduling. Monday and Tuesday I'm actually going to be talking about the game that I'm making for the Game Jam, and then we're going to get back into the regular videos talking about random game dev stuff as per usual while the voting goes on. And then in 2 weeks afterwards there should be a showcase and an interview with the winners and all of that type of stuff. If you need a refresher on any of the rules, then you can go to the link in the description. It should take you to the page where I have got all the rules up there. Other than that, guys, have a great jam. Enjoy your jam. I enjoy my jam, and I'm going to start right now, actually.